God bless everyone. God bless all the YouTubes, all those who are watching. God bless you and your families. Hope everyone is doing well during these times. This video, I just wanted to talk about, even though it's not the most important thing that anyone can focus right now, because we have more important things to worry about, especially during these times. But I wanted to take out a few minutes just to create a video based on what the Bible says about marriage. I know in my previous videos I have made, I have spoken about marriage and relationship, and most of all, a relationship with a toxic person, such as a narcissist. And the reason why I touch on that a lot is because it's a reality, and it may not be a reality to a lot of people, but it does happen. And when you're in a relationship with a person like this, it's not like every other relationship. You know, some people may not understand what you're going through if you ever experienced this, and they may think, well, just get over it, or just do this, just do that. People give you different advices, or they may just not understand and comprehend why is it that you had such difficulty in this relationship that you had. And they would never understand until they, God forbid, one day run across a person like this, because people like that are not your everyday, average person that you meet. There are a lot of narcissists. There are a lot of different type of people that have, personality disorder. They have a lot of different things going on in their life that nobody knows about. And these people could be richest people, they could be the most knowledgeable people, they can be extremely intelligent, they can be extremely talented, all come in all shapes and sizes and colors. And it's just sad because they have so much knowledge about whatever it is that they have knowledge of, whether it's their job or some type of talent that they have, whatever the case may be. And you get to know these people, you end up getting deeper and deeper into the relationship. What ends up happening is, for sooner or later, the mask comes off, you find out who they are. And I heard somebody say one time that they don't believe that all narcissists cheat. And I kind of have a different opinion about that. I mean, obviously, I haven't dated the whole world. I haven't met every narcissist, haven't been in a relationship with all different types of narcissists. This only happened to me one time, but it was a good period of time where what type of people they are, by just observing this one specific person. And I learned also a lot even after the fact, who they are, and what they do purposely to cause issues within the relationship, even though there may not be any problems. You guys may get along just well throughout the relationship for the most part, and all of a sudden all these problems just start coming up, and you're asking yourself why. But how could this happen if we were getting along so great? We have so much in common. And like I said, I have a different view on the whole cheating part, and I kind of disagree with what some people may say or have opinions of that I know of is not proven. But I say this because whether you're with them in a short while or you're with them in a long-term relationship, eventually they will cheat. So the longer you stay with them, the more likely they will cheat, because their cycle tells you this. The cycle that you go through when you're in a relationship with these people tell you and gives you I would say, a prediction of the future, of the near future. How they act, how they carry themselves, and their patterns tell you what's going to happen next. And if you've been with the person, like I said, for a long-term relationship, let's say more than a year, maybe 2 years, maybe more, and the longer you're living with this person or with this person, you're experiencing more and more hurt, and they're rejecting you more, they're more distant from you, they disrespect you more often, they, tend to stop communicating with you, just literally cut you off, even if you are living in the same house with them. And when a normal person does this, usually it means that they're most likely moving on, or they already found somebody else, or they're just not interested in you. A normal person would actually have a conversation with you and let you know what most likely what's going to happen or what's going on. Narcissists don't. And even though you try to pry open and try to sit them down, they might give in, as though they'll pretend like they're listening to you, and they're sitting down listening to what you have to say or whatever. But they don't comprehend. They don't want to understand. And the way you see things are not the same way that they see things. So you may take an offense, or you may find it disrespectful that this person is just completely ignoring you for no reason at all. And you will ask for an explanation as to why, so that you could get some type of closure into what the problem is, so you guys can come down to a solution. And you never come down to the solution with them, because they don't want to hear your side and they don't care about your feelings. And what ends up happening is you see yourself going around in this circle over and over again, because every time there's a problem, it always falls down on you. You're always the one to be blamed. And this is how they are. So eventually, when they do, in a narcissistic relationship, when they do start to grow distant, they do stop calling you or staying in contact with you, like, in like a normal relationship. Then that already means that they're tired of you, because you figured them out already, and they thought they were never going to be figured out. So you have them already in your mind, and you have an image of them, and you see them a certain way now, because now you know who they really are, or who they turned out to be, and it bothers them. So they get tired of you. They get tired of you complaining all the time, like, why are you treating me this way? Why are you disrespecting me? Why are you so distant? Why don't you want to talk to me anymore? They get tired of it. So the more distant they grow, the more deeper they're probably messing with someone else, and they're not telling you. And they would never tell you, even if you catch them red-handed, even if you caught them with a person on your bed, and you could have a video of them, you could have pictures of them with this other person, and they will straight up deny it in your face. No, I did not do that. Or they'll be like, wow, this is all your fault because you didn't give me the attention that I wanted, or you didn't clean enough, or you didn't give me enough money. You didn't help me with my bills, or put it this way, you just didn't pay all the bills, because that's what they like to do. They like to also financially abuse you. So they try to blame everything on you, shift everything on you, turn the tables, twist things up, and they lie. So eventually, like I said, if you are in a relationship long enough, and I say long enough because every narcissist doesn't have the same amount of time before their mask starts to come off. See, like the aging narcissists, the older ones, right, that have been like this all their lives, and let's say in their, I would say 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, their cycle tends to become shorter and shorter and shorter, versus a younger narcissist, let's just say from the ages of 20 to 35, or their cycles are actually longer. It takes them longer than it would a aging narcissist. And the reason why is because the older they get, the worse they become. So the older they get, the more careless they become. So they see you more, I would say, as just a utensil, because they've been doing this all their lives. They're professionals at it. And they get it as though they've gotten away with it so far with everyone they've been with. That's why they've been in like 1,000 relationships and have like so many babies around the world, because they are who they are. And when you point that out to them and you say, hey, I believe this is what's wrong with you, and this is what's causing the problems in our relationship, they would say, no, you're the problem, and that's it. And then when you try to bring up their past, like, okay, so why didn't it work out with such and such? Or what did such and such do? Or what happened in that relationship? Or why didn't it work out with your ex or whoever? And they'll just be like, well, because she, or let's say, for example, if it was another gender, he, did this and did that, and this is why, it just didn't work out. I had to let them go. I had to walk away because they were just not good for me. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're always going to lie, just like they lie behind your back to all their friends and coworkers and families when things go bad or you do something they don't like, whether they're still with you in a relationship or not. They'll go behind your back and they would destroy your name, to everyone else, whether those people really know who you are or not. And most likely, if they are their family and they obviously are going to take their narcissist side, then that's exactly what they'll do. And they'll just laugh along and they'll be like, well, yeah, it is true. She or he is weird. And I never thought that, he or she could ever make you happy anyway. So you're just better off, finding yourself someone else. So if they actually believe the narcissist lies about you, then obviously they're not your friend. They're not your family. They can care less about your feelings. And they'll just go along with narcissists because they're just the narcissist flying monkeys, and they will always be their flying monkeys. They're the cheerleaders, cheers them on all the time, every time they screw up, and they're always telling them, oh, no, you're not the bad guy, you're not the bad girl, it's the other person, it's definitely the other person, because you have all the great qualities that anyone would have, and anyone would be so lucky just to have you. Yeah, right. That's why it never worked out in any other relationships that you had. And then they're dumb enough to actually admit to you during the relationship. I don't know about all of them, but those that like to brag, because some narcissists they like to brag about who they are and how good they look, and no matter how old they are. And they just like to say, well, yeah, they like to boast about their past relationship. Like, oh, yeah, I had this one and she was a supermodel. And the other one, oh, my Lord, she was a judge and she worked at the courts. And this one was a corrections officer. And the other one was a state trooper. And my ex-wife was a doctor's assistant. They'll just boast about this stuff. And then they'll be like, well, yeah, and, they all look good, and I had it like that, and they will always stalk me, come to my job and harass me, and I just had to let them go. I just couldn't take it no more. They'll say stupid stuff like that, which if a person's bragging like that, most likely it's not the other person that had the problem in the past relationship. It's most likely them. But obviously you're not going to know that, because they're not going to let you know. And they're always constantly lying about everything just to make them look like they are someone else that they are not. So my whole thing about this video, we're going to go back to the main point here. I just wanted to give you a little introduction on the little things that they do. If you do run across a person like that, and if you do see red flags like that, please do go ahead and walk away silently without them even knowing and just disappear, because that's most likely you're walking into a relationship with a narcissist and you don't even know it, because you think they're normal, they look normal, and you just don't know who they really are until you spend a lot of time with them. That's the only way you're gonna know. And actually, you might find a red flag here and there the first time you meet them. You just don't notice it because maybe it happened so quickly. Maybe you barely caught on to it. Maybe later you kind of figured it out or played back the scenario and say, this was a little off about them. But you know what? Maybe it's just, maybe they didn't mean it that way, or maybe I took it wrong. You kind of start to second guess yourself a little bit because you just met them and you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, like usually the normal people do. And then it turns to find out later that you were actually right the whole time. And sometimes it's too late, and I say too late for some people because some people will never let them go. They will always stay with them in a relationship, and then they eventually become physically or mentally sick if they stay with the narcissist. And that's proven because there have been testimonies of people like that. And it's sad. So that's what I mean by too late. But I say as long as you have life, it's never too late. I want to get on with what the Bible talks about when it mentions the marriage bed. This is actually found in Hebrews 13:4. And the New King James Version says, marriage is honorable among all, and the bed undefiled. But fornicators and adulterers God will judge. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to explain why I'm actually touching on this. It says, and the bed undefiled. So the actual definition of defiled, the word defile means to make foul, dirty, or unclean, pollute, taint, debase. And another meaning to that is to make impure for ceremonial use, desecrate. That's another word. God is actually commanding that the marriage bed stays undefiled, meaning the opposite of what I just read. So he wants the marriage to always have respect. And that's one thing that you would never find in a relationship with a narcissist. They could not respect you, even if you pay them. Because the longer, as I said, the longer you stay with them, the more disrespectful that relationship will become, the more toxic. They don't respect you from the very beginning. But like I said, you don't know that because you don't know them. And you're just getting to know them. And everyone around you may or may not tell you that this person's such a good person. I work with him or her. And you would be lucky to have him or her in your life. And I think you guys make a great couple. They make so much money. You guys will live a nice, comfortable little life. Or you might get the opposite, which I think should help you understand why people are telling you this. But if you fall in love with them after a matter of time and you have people kind of telling you, well, this person doesn't seem good for you, or maybe they just don't want to tell you because they don't want to hurt your feelings, but they give you like little hints here and there, and they may not directly tell you, but they'll tell you, nah, something's kind of wrong with this guy. I'm not really feeling him, or I'm not really feeling her. You know, she just seems a little too loose, or too much, like she's too dramatic. You know, I mean, just look at the way she dresses too. I mean, she's kind of like showing all her stuff, you know, when there's no need for that. She's too extra. And he just looks like he's too controlling. I mean, look the way he stands when he stands next to you, how he holds your arm, or the way he stares at you when you're talking to someone else, because that jealousy, I believe anybody could tell when someone else is jealous. So all these things that people may tell you may or may not help you, you know, while you're in the beginning, I would say the honeymoon stage of the narcissist, because the honeymoon stage wears off pretty quickly. And like, it's not a normal relationship. Like I said, nothing is ever normal. So anything that you would hear about a narcissistic relationship just won't sound normal. It would sound crazy. It would sound crazy because it's something that usually people just don't experience. And even if people do experience it, and they don't hear about it, they'll think they're crazy. And they'll think that they're the only ones in the whole wide world who is having this encounter, this bad experience with this person, and they think they're crazy themselves. Because the narcissist is telling them behind closed doors, you're crazy. You didn't see me with that girl. Or, you know, you didn't see that text message on my phone. Yeah, I did. Well, no, you didn't. Not on my phone. Maybe you did that. Maybe you put that there. So they'll try to brainwash you as much as they can in any way, anyhow they will. And the longer you stay with them, the more pressure they will put on you. And then you would tend to feel that more pressure, more responsibility, and the whole responsibility of the relationship will be put on your shoulders because they're lazy. They don't want to do work. They just want to come home. They want to enjoy themselves. And everything is about them. You have to please them all the time. There is no break. You don't get a break. They would treat you like a slave. They'll make you, for example, if you are, you know, a wife or a husband, they will make you clean all the time. You're the only one that's going to be cleaning all the time. You're going to be doing laundry. You're going to be ironing clothes. You're going to be going to the grocery store by yourself probably. if they let you, because if you got one of those really, really, really jealous ones, they probably won't let you leave the house for nothing unless you're with them. And you always have to be the one spending the money. You always have to do every single thing that they say you have to do just to please them. But yet, they will sit there and lie and say, well, no, I treat you like a king or a queen, so I don't know why you're complaining because I'm always spending money on you. Because they say those things to make you feel guilty, even though it may not be true. Maybe they're not spending a lot of money on you, or they can be spending a lot of money on you, but it's because a narcissist is not responsible, especially when it comes to their finance. They will spend, and max out their credit cards for whatever stupid reason. And then they'll turn around and say, well, I only did it because of you, or I only did it because I wanted to buy you this, or I only did it because I thought this would make you happy. No, it's bullcrap. Because if they're out there spending money on themselves, buying things that they really don't need, for an example, they're going to get a brand new car for a certain amount of money that they do not have, they turn to you for help. So in reality, no, they're not just spending money to make you happy. They're pulling you in their debt. And if it's not necessary and they could wait until they have more money in the bank, or they're kind of out of debt before they get a new car, if they want to get the car of their dreams, which I believe we all have the right to buy the things that we want because we work hard for the money that we earn. At least most of us do, because some people just are lazy and they just don't really earn their money. So instead of waiting for that time to come where any reasonable person will be like, well, you know what? I know we have a lot of bills to pay. I know we're trying to help each other out. Let's just wait. Let's just not get a new house right now. Or let's just not get a new car right now. Or let's just not get so many luxury things right now. Let's just kind of give it a while until we're in good standing. And then when we're out of that, we could go spend some money. We could go do this. We could do that. That would be a reasonable person. But they are not reasonable. And you can never reason with them. You literally have to beg them to have common sense. If we're struggling and we're in this together, don't you think you would understand that right now we cannot buy these things, or right now we cannot afford to do certain things? They just don't want to get it. It's like it's their way or the highway. And usually, yeah, that's how they are, because they are not financially responsible and they don't act like they are. They act like little kids. You have to buy them every candy in the store, even though you can't afford it. So they will force you or make you feel guilty about it so that you could give in and be like, okay. I know we don't have the money, but I'm going to get it for you anyways, or I'm going to help you. I'm going to pay half of it, or whatever the case is. And this happens throughout the whole relationship. And it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. It does not get better. And you may think at one point, yeah, it was getting better because we were arguing less, but it's mostly because you were walking around eggshells during that time period and afterwards. You were doing everything possible not to get them angry, not to upset them for any reason. But at the same time you're doing this, you are the one feeling bad about it. You're feeling unsatisfied about, the things you guys don't talk about when you guys should be talking about it, because they don't want to have that communication with you. So you feel bad about certain things, but yet you're afraid to bring it up or to even talk about it, because that's when they start to not talk to you anymore. They start to grow distant all over again. They stop calling. So to avoid all that, you walk around all of those things. You walk around your own feelings and just push everything to the side and be like, you know what? I'm just going to satisfy him or her, no matter how much it hurts me, no matter how much I have to cry, and they don't console me, they don't comfort me, they don't apologize. I'm just going to do it for the sake of the relationship. And that is not a relationship, because a relationship is a two-way, not a one-way. So the more this happens over and over and over, until the point where you think you're going nuts, or you feel like you just want to run away and never come back, at the same time they are talking to other people. They're making your life miserable at home and wherever you guys go. But in reality, they're checking other people out, and they're never honest. They're never honest with you from the beginning, because they're just not honest people. So even from the beginning, they were flirting with other people. Even from the beginning, they were looking at other girls or looking at other men. They were trying to get other people's numbers. Their friends were trying to hook them up while he was with you or while she was with you in a relationship already, but yet they're trying to get with somebody else. Or they have social media. That's the worst, right? Because you're never gonna know. They're on social media and they're sending messages to whoever is not on their page or some new friend that they don't know, but now they're trying to get to know. Especially at work, co-workers, there's people everywhere you go. So they're always constantly trying to pick somebody up just in case, because they already have their plan. And their plan is, well, if my supply that I have now isn't going to give me that good supply forever because they're already figuring me out, then it's my time to find somebody else, because eventually I'm going to kick them out the house. Eventually I'm going to break it off with them. Eventually I'm going to discard them, or let me get somebody before they discard me, because I see they're getting fed up with the way I'm treating them, which in reality, narcissists don't ever believe. They may think, but they never believe that you're actually going to get up one day and leave them. They think that you can, or they think that you are, but they really don't believe it. In their minds, they're like, oh no, she or he is never going to leave me because I'm just way too good. They don't want to lose me because I just treat them way too well. I mean, if they stuck with me this whole time and I've been treating them so harshly and they're still here, they're never going to leave me. But I'm going to still go ahead and play with whoever else I could play with on the side until I discard them, until I have enough of them. And I call it quits, and I just don't want to be with them no more. And they're just going to have to deal with it. And if they don't want to deal with it, well, we could just be friends. And I could always have that person in my life for the rest of my life. I could always stalk them. I could always see what they're doing, who they're talking to. And I could always enter in their life, and I could always leave from their life when I want. Because I'm still going to get that supply. Whether it's money, whether it's attention, whatever it is. And that's how they see us. That is how they see people who are not like them. We are just utensils. And the same way they view marriage is just another tool to grab hold of you a little bit longer, just to have a permanent supply. And if this permanent supply gets on my nerves and they're always calling me a narcissist, or they're telling me who I am and the wrong things that I'm doing, or they caught me, doing something I'm not supposed to be doing, then this supply is going to have to deal with or swallow what I'm doing to them, because we're married. You just can't divorce. You just can't get up divorce. I have to divorce them. I have to discard them. They can't discard me. So once they have you there and you guys are married, they believe that they have you wrapped around their hand or their finger because you obviously allow them to marry you, or you marry them because you fell in love with them. No one's going to get married if they don't love the other person. Now, I know some people that do get married, they really don't love their spouse. People get married for different stupid reasons these days, whether it's for money, whether it's for image, for whatever it is. But most of all, most people get married because they love one another and they want to live the rest of their lives together, and they want to do what a normal family would do. They don't see it that way. And when things go wrong in the relationship, they blame it on you. And the marriage, the failure of the marriage is you. It's your fault. This is why I'm leaving you. This is why this couldn't work out, because you have an attitude problem, because you just didn't accept me the way I am, or you didn't clean enough, or because you complain too much, or maybe you're just too jealous, or, you're making up stuff. You're accusing me of cheating when I'm not cheating. Make up anything just to make you feel guilty for something you didn't do, and just carry that burden on your shoulders as though you did something wrong. When we talk about this verse about keeping the bed undefiled, we see that they don't do that. So one of the first things I said was disrespect, right? Another way, obviously, of defiling the marriage bed is obviously cheating. That falls also under the category of this being disrespected, because if they disrespect you, if they're cheating on you, they're disrespecting you. You know, whether they cheat in front of your face or behind your back, it's a disrespect. And to God, that is not something he takes lightly. So once you're married and you cheat on your spouse, you become an adulterer, because you are having a sexual relationship with someone outside the marriage. And there are a lot of verses in the Bible that describe what an adulterer is and what fornication is, and anything that basically is a sin or abomination to the Lord. And these narcissists cannot help themselves, and they always tend to look somewhere else. Whether it's a female or male, their attention is not always going to be on you. They always want to look around. They're very messed up in the mind when it comes to sexual things. They're very, I would say, perverted. You know, these people, they need help. They need help, and they don't want to admit it, but that's who they are, and that's what they do behind closed doors when nobody obviously is watching them. So whether it's going online to social media, you know, going in person, having someone physically there and they're talking to them, getting to know them, you know, sending them sexual things, whatever the case is, they're disrespecting you, and they are not keeping the marriage bed holy. They are defiling it. And obviously they don't have to sleep with someone on the same bed that you sleep on with them. They could go to a hotel, they could go to work, they could do this anywhere, in their car or whatever. They could cheat on you. And that's what God does not like. He does not like that. Now, if they repent from their sins and they stay with their spouse even after the fact, then God accepts that. He accepts that. And God does also say in the Bible that he prefers that the husband and wife stay together, even though one of them committed adultery. He prefers that. And there's reasons why he prefers that, because he doesn't want their souls to be lost, because they can go out, get divorced, and then do the same thing again outside from that marriage after the marriage is over, and they just end up in the same sin all over again. So that's why he prefers them to stay together, even though the sin was already committed. So they have to forgive each other, work it out, and continue in their marriage. But like I said, that doesn't usually happen, because when a narcissist is cheating on you or starts to cheat on you, that's it. There's no hope of that relationship ever even getting to as good as it was in the beginning. Never. Not even, there's no way that it's ever going to be close to being as good and as peaceful it was in the beginning of that relationship, because you might not be able to forgive them, or even if you do, they're still going to continue cheating on you. They're still going to make your life miserable. They're still going to go how can I say, they're still gonna not contact you, not gonna want to be around you. They're always gonna give you an attitude. They're gonna treat you like a slave. They're gonna disrespect you. They're gonna treat you like trash. They're gonna make your life so miserable that is not even worth it. You could forgive the person, because forgiving is setting yourself free, not them. But that doesn't mean you have to be with that person. It's not worth for anyone, for someone to be their slave and to be treated worse than you would treat any animal, and to be disrespected on a daily basis, to be gaslighted all the time, to be devalued, to be abandoned, to be neglected, and to be stripped from all your rights. All rights as a human being, to even question as to why, or to even find somewhat of an explanation or some type of closure from them that you would never receive. All those things will be taken away from you as long as you stay with them. They will always try to have you under their hand all the time, because they want to control you. They always want to tell you what to do, who to talk to, who not to talk to, what to do, what not to do, what kind of career you should go for, what what is the best for you in their mind. And the best for you in their mind is for you to stay with them, be their slave, and you have to accept it. You have to sit there, suck it up, and accept it. That's how they are. And you could cry, you could beg, you could ask why. And they could see the sadness and the torment that you're going through because they're treating you this way for no reason whatsoever. And you would never get a response as to why. Because they have no reason why they're treating you that way. They're treating you that way because they're evil. That's just who they are. That's who they are. And they will always be that way. All the time. To the day that they die. Unless, for some miraculous reason, they are able to wake up from that evilness. They're able to repent, come to God, and to be liberated from that demon or demons that are inside of them. That has had them like that, bound for many years. And spiritually blind, where they can't even see their reality at all. Their reality is always false. They always live in a false world. And that's just who they are. They can never give you a sincere apology. They would never apologize to you. Never. And if they do apologize to you, it's never from the heart. They never see that they do wrong. Everything they do wrong is actually right. Everything negative they do or say is actually a positive thing. Everything that you do that's positive to them is negative. So you guys are always the opposite. And your minds are always the opposite. So therefore you guys can never be happy because they don't want to make you happy. And they don't want to be happy themselves. They want somebody to satisfy them. But the thing is about them, since they have that spirit of deceit inside of them, that lustful spirit, they can never be satisfied. No matter what you do, they always hungry for more, whether it's more money, more cars, more houses, more property, more attention in their life from everyone, more sexual partners, more everything. There always has to be more of everything in their life. There's never an end to it. They can never say, okay, I'm finally satisfied. I got to where I wanted to get. I got married. I had kids. I have a nice home. I have, nice things. And I'm finally satisfied. That's it. I don't need nothing else. So he's saying anybody that defiles that bed, they will be judged as fornicators and adulterers. And he would judge them. And the reason why he says this is because they're fornicators, they are adulterers. They are fornicators even before they get married. They are fornicators. Because that's what they do. They fornicate. They have a promiscuous life. Even before they met you. And you may not have known that. Unless, like I said, you had one that likes to boast a lot about themselves and all their relationships in the past. And how their exes were so good looking. And there were this and there were that. Then you would know and you could tell, okay, yeah, this person was one of those. They used to just jump. They're a jumper. So that's why God says fornicators and adulterers. Someone that sleeps outside of the marriage with someone that's not married to them is called an adulterer. And the sad thing about this is that when a person does that and then divorces, or let's just say they don't even get divorced. Let's just say they separated for years and they just never come down to the official divorce. But they're seeing other people. They are still adulterers. They are, just because you're separated from a person doesn't mean that gives you the right to go ahead and jump into another relationship or jump into a sexual relationship with another person or multiple people just because you're separated from your wife or your husband. And that's the sad part, that people don't know that, because number one, they're not believers of God. They may believe that there's a God, but they don't know who God is. They are not Christians. They are not people that have repented from their sins. They have not realized what the reality is and who they really are. So therefore, if they're never going to realize that, you have done for them, how much you have sacrificed, how much that you have taken in the relationship, how much abuse you have endured just to still be with that person, just to hope to see at the end maybe there is a change. Or maybe they'll come to their senses and realize that the real problem is them. And then we could finally try to fix some things and be happy and move on. That would never happen. And it's important that other people know also what the Bible says, especially when it comes to marriage. So, with that being said, God bless everyone. Stay safe out there and always be vigilant.